So I'm just gonna smile at everything around, 'cause I've got earth beneath my feet and the sky above. And it's a glorious day on the planet I love. And don't tell me about someday, somehow, 'cause all we need is right here, right now. I got some rhythm and I got some rhyme, yeah. I got my music and I got my mind. We were sinking in circles, imprisoned in the past. No, I'm just gonna be, and I'm free at last, 'cause I've got earth beneath my feet and the sky above. And it's a glorious day on the planet I love. Because there's children playing somewhere. How's life on Jupiter? I don't care, oh no, 'cause we got lovers just laying there. Yeah. Well, I'm no hero, I'm not brave. I'm just tired of being afraid. 'Cause I've been wondering why it was, but it's just life doing what it does. And I've got earth beneath my feet and the sky above. We've got to rise above that old push and shove, 'cause I've got earth beneath my feet and the sky above, oh yeah. And it's a glorious day on the planet I love. Oh, it's a glorious day now. Oh, it's such a glorious day, yeah. Oh, it's a glorious day. It's a glorious day on the planet I love. It's a glorious day on the planet I love. It's a glorious day on the planet we love. Grateful for everybody here today. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Steve, I'm on 19. Good to see you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about context today, but isn't that amazing when you hear that song, which we have heard in the context of the full band? Yeah. Fabulous. Well done. Yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, well, nice. So good morning, everybody. Here we are, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and all that entails. And from here on in, it is a dead run till New Year's. Is it me buzzing?
That was me.
Okay, whatever. Okay, something is interesting. Yeah, gets it buzzing. That etheric goes. Anyway, so I'm just thrilled to have you guys here today. I'm very excited about things that are going on, and we have Paul sitting here as our practitioner today. Yeah, and we got the full band. It's good having you guys here today. Wonderful. How you doing, Lee? You want to use this?
Please.
Thank you.
Wonderfully. Always a special treat to collaborate. Music is about community. Art is about getting together and sharing our humanity. So to do that with these genius musicians is always a treat. And to get to share that with everybody that I play these songs for all the time, to have this extra energy, just absolutely fulfilling.
Thank you. Yes. Fabulous. And Paul, how about you? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if the mic's on, but is it?
Did you push the button?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. I'm doing pretty good. And every time, Lee, when you say that verse, how's life on Jupiter? I don't care. It's funny, on social media I saw a meme, and it was a Neil deGrasse Tyson post, and he said, everybody's wanting to make Mars into a new Earth and recreate, and then he's like, why don't we recreate Earth and make Earth the way Earth is. So it's really cool. It's like, why try to go other places, but just like create a nice space of what we got. So that's cool.
Makes sense to me. Yeah. Andrea, are you going out? Would you be so kind as to bring me a glass of water on your way back in? Thank you so much. I realize I don't have any, and I just had some coffee, and my mouth is kind of feeling that. So anyway, good morning to all of you out there in the virtual world as well. So a couple things I want to announce as they're coming down the line. The first thing is I'm very excited. In January, I'll be starting a class. It is January 9th on Wednesday and January 8th on Tuesday. And the class is called New Thought for the 21st Century. And I'm working on the class right now, and I'm so excited about it because we're gonna go swirly. We're gonna go down the rabbit holes of alchemy and occultism, where our roots are to quantum physics and whatever that is there. So all of that, someplace or another, is a sweet spot for all of us. So that's happening. Jim has an ongoing class on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m., and that's happening. Paul has a meditation on Wednesdays at 12:30 p.m., and that's kind of all the things that we got going on, except a couple things just for everybody to know. One is our office will be closed on Thursday and Friday because of the Thanksgiving weekend. So if you have any kind of business, Tuesday and Wednesday is the time to be there. And then the second thing is this. So we are doing Thanks for Giving. And Thanks for Giving is a spiritual practice whereby we give thanks for you being here. And I had this thought this week, which was, it was a tough week for me. It was really, Rolla was gone, and there was some things we were working through, and we had a board meeting that was kind of tough, and all this other kind of stuff. And I was just in my stuff deeply. And then I thought about you guys, because you come here on Sunday. You come to hear me, to hear Lee, Paul. You come here on Sunday, and it just opened my heart to this deep sense of gratitude. And it felt like like in the fairy tales with the iron bands around the heart just burst open. So I'm just grateful. And so we'd love to have you here to share a Thanks for Giving meal with us. We've got some food, nothing fancy. It was a tough year, but we have a meal. The most important thing is to be at a table together, and so please come and share the table. But as a spiritual practice, because this is all about the capacity to receive, I'm going to say that no one eats until Steve and the band eat first, because they are always the last ones out of the sanctuary, and they're always getting the scraps. So as a way to sort of encourage them to get out first, so the band and Steve serve themselves first as a spiritual practice for all of us. You guys in on it? All right, good, right on. And there's nothing you can do about that. All right, Paul, why don't you get us going today?
Sure. All right, my name is Paul. I'm your spiritual practitioner of the day today, and it's such a privilege to be here and see everyone here, everyone's beautiful faces, and the light that exudes from everyone's eyes. I just love coming here because, it's really us being together on our spiritual path, right? And our spiritual awakening. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. Wherever you are on that spiritual path, you're welcome here because it's just such a heart-giving place and awareness. Every Sunday that I come to, it's just an amazing place. So welcome. And so before we begin our service, we start with an invocation. And we just pray. We just pray into our being, pray into our experience, and open to this divine presence that is so loving. And so if you like, you can close your eyes. If not, that's fine too. So let us now just recall that presence of life that fills us with spirit in each and every moment. For we are here in this moment now, blessed by the music, by our beloved Reverend Dr. Guy Williams, as that testament of this great essence of life that is everywhere present, that is in our very cells of our body, that is our being, that is everything. It is in the light, it is in the sun, in the clouds, in the flora, in the fauna, in the mountains, in the sky, in the air. And it is in every one of us here today. It is a very blessing itself that we get to come here and enjoy this peaceful moment of respite, this insight of love by which we are all here together with. And so I know that we are blessed, and in this blessing, that we come forth by this divine essence that moves and has its being in all of us. And we get to share that as that teacher, that presence known as the Christ consciousness. And so deeply grateful in this moment for all of this. I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. And so this reading speaks to this thing called Thanksgiving, being grateful, and it's just that which is happiness itself. You know, to be happy is to be grateful for this experience. And so I love this reading because it's very simple, and it speaks to something that is so profound, this sense of awareness. And it goes like this. I think as long as you are a human being, there is thanking. Gratitude for being, not for being human, but what for you fundamentally are. Thanking for the sake of thanking. And now let us sit here just for a moment, in this moment of meditation. And I'll guide you through a process before we allow that presence of light to just fully revel and to be. So recall your life. How long have you been living? Are you not struck by a sense of injustice? How is it that some people that we know aren't living in this moment now? Some people only had less than 1 hour to live, and yet we are here. Now recall your childhood, the stages of your growth, for we have been blessed beyond any experience, whether we were happy or even painful, and those moments that help us grow. The people you met, the talents you have for smell, taste, and touch, for the limbs and the organs of your body. If you were to die today, we certainly had our fair share. So every day, it's as if it's an added bonus. You have another day, another morning, another afternoon, and another evening. Accept your good today and all your good luck. With love and light, and so it is.
So I'm going to play a song that is my attempt at exploring gratitude for the whole thing, because it's easy to write songs and think about gratitude for the things we are definitely grateful for. But if we look at the whole picture and the whole life story, can we be grateful for all of it? So I try to write a song about that, and since uncertainty is built into everything, this one's called Sweet Uncertainty, to have a positive bent overall. Oh, it's been a day, it's kind of been that way, so I came to play sweet uncertainty. uncertainty. Time will leave behind, oh my troubled mind. Who knows what I'll find? Sweet uncertainty. Then you're next to me, I hear that melody. Ooh, that energy, sweet uncertainty. Let the rhythm make you, oh, I wanna take you when you're next to me. Sweet uncertainty. Teach me. Picture perfect bliss. Wish I could dream like this. An endless summer's kiss. Sweet uncertainty. All the time you burn for the pain unearned. All the lessons learned. Sweet uncertainty. Then you're next to me. I hear that melody. Oh, that energy. Sweet uncertainty. Let the rhythm make you. Oh, I wanna take you when you're next to me. Sweet uncertainty. Teach me. All there ever was, all there'll ever be, only was because sweet uncertainty. Every life on earth, every galaxy, all the universe, sweet uncertainty. Then you're next to me, I hear that melody, oh, that energy, sweet uncertainty. Let the rhythm make you, oh, I wanna take you when you're next to me, sweet uncertainty. Teach me, oh, oh. Oh, it's been a day, it's kinda been that way, so I came to play sweet uncertainty. Time will leave behind, oh, my troubled mind. Who knows what I'll find? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Please welcome the Reverend Dr. Guy Williams. He knows what I'm talking about.
Sweet uncertainty, that's like my favorite line. It's the story of my life. And it's a courageous place to be, right? You know? Yeah. Well, certainty is boring. It certainly is. Yeah, it is dangerous. And it's for the intellectually and spiritually lazy. So, with that, I'm going to talk about some things that might make you uncomfortable. I'm going to talk about Jesus, and I'm going to talk about money. So if those things make you uncomfortable, buckle up. And the way that I'm going to get there, I'm going to launch this rocket by talking about Paul Rothko. Everybody know the artist Paul Rothko? So, have you ever seen a Rothko painting? It is devastatingly beautiful. It is sublime. It is disrupting. I remember the first time I saw a Rothko was up in the Bay Area at MoMA there. And I walked into the room and I saw it, and it took my breath away. Because the quality of his art is disruptive. Like Lee's music. Disruption is the essence of healing. Because it's the certainty, it's the patterns, it's the things that we get into that just sort of go along without any question or wonder when our lives are on automatic and we find ourselves in conditions and we make up stories about why we're stuck there or why that has to be. but a disruption comes along and opens wide the doors of possibility, right? And we've all had them, right? Something happens and there's a shift, there's something that happens. So the thing about, for me, this Rothko experience that I had was seeing Rothko in a museum, because his paintings are huge. And it's the context of the museum, because I'm sure it would be different if it was like, say, in somebody's bedroom or a basement or, in somebody's front porch or something like that. So it's the context of something that defines our experience of it. And the context is something that we create, do we not? Because of our own lens, our own pattern of how we see what is there. Goethe says this, he says, one only sees what one looks for. One only looks for what one knows. It's that whole idea of confirmation bias, right? We create a belief, we create something, and then we go on a hunt to look for evidence to kind of base that on. And yet something comes along and blows the whole thing away. And that's the power of things. But that's also our creation. And the development of consciousness is just becoming aware of what we're aware of, thinking about what we're thinking about, paying attention to what we're paying attention to, because this says a lot. And in the area of this, the astral body, which I'm not going to get into too much today, but in class we're going to talk about the astral body a lot, because it's that realm of memories, dreams, imaginations, stories. It's that whole filtering system that we create that lets in and out what we want to see or not see. It's also the place where we create. Abraham Heschel says that words create worlds. And I was thinking about this week when I was thinking about creation, because in the Hebrew Bible, the word create is bara, which means to form a relationship. So one could read those first words in the book of Genesis, in the beginning created God the heavens and the earth. Another way of saying that is, in the beginning, God formed relationships with the heavens and the earth. And that anything that we create is done through relationship. Think about anything that you're wanting to manifest and create in your life. And think about the relationships that are formed in order for that to happen. That creation does not exist in a void, but it's the dynamic experience of creating from one another, of this thing and that thing. Just like our words create worlds, our words form relationships which bring into being the things that we are calling forth, consciously or unconsciously. One of my favorite authors, Ursula Le Guin, says this: words are events. They do things. They change things. They transform both speaker and hearer. They feed energy back and forth and amplify it. They feed understanding or emotion back and forth. They amplify it. Words create worlds. And so, part of our whole spiritual practice is attending to what we say to whom and how. And this month we've been experiencing this idea, these thoughts on gratitude, and we've sort of talked about this formula: gift, gratitude, generosity. Like Paul was saying, at the meditation, we move into the awareness that the very breath that we're taking, the very experience that we're having, that every relationship we encounter is a gift. And that the response to that is gratefulness. And that gratefulness naturally leads us to a place of generosity. It's interesting because when I think of Jesus, one of the things that Jesus is always doing in the Gospels is he's always contrasting the wisdom of the world and the spiritual wisdom. That which is known. Rabindranath Tagore says this. He says, the small wisdom is like water in a glass, clear, transparent, pure. The great wisdom is like the water in the sea, dark, mysterious, impenetrable. And it's easy to kind of go to the wisdom of the world. The clear, it's reasonable. It makes sense. It's rational. 1 and 1 is 2 and all that other kind of stuff. But when you look at the teachings of Jesus, they are disruptive. And let me give an example, if I may, of a parable that we've all heard and we all think that we understand. But I'm going to offer another way of looking at it, which is much closer to the text. And I'm doing this one from the Gospel according to Matthew. And it's the one we all know, right? You've all heard this, the parable of the 10 talents, right? About the rich landowner that gives his slaves 5 talents, 3 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent, and goes away and comes back, and one invested this, and the other one invested that, and one buried it in a hole. And he says to the ones that invested the money, good and faithful servants, and rewards them and gives them more. And the one who buried it in a hole, he calls a lazy lout and throws outside. And I have heard this parable my whole life. I've preached on this parable my whole life. I've tried to fit it into the context of New Thought. And yet, it's not what he's saying at all. It's not about earthly wisdom. It's not about the wisdom of the world. This parable would probably more properly be told as the parable of the whistleblower. And let me explain what I mean. So again, we want to put this in context. We want to put this in the context of first century Palestine occupied by the Roman Empire. And a talent is not just a few coins. A talent is a large sum of usually precious metals, and it's a lot. It's, if we were to think of it in terms of today, talents would be in the tens of thousands of dollars. They're not just a coin or two. It's a big sum of money. And what do we know about this landowner? Because again, when I first heard this and how it was explained to me and how I tried to wrap my head around this for so long, the landowner, who we think is supposed to be God, but I'm going to challenge you it's not, because this landowner, he's kind of a prick. What does he do? He takes what is not his. He reaps what he has not sown. He's a hard and taskmaster. It's written right there. And one would think that God, that is talked about in the Gospels, would be at least as nice as Jesus. And this guy isn't nice at all. And so he gives to one slave 5 talents, and he gives to another one 2 talents, and he gives to another one 1 talent. These are large sums of money in empire-occupied Palestine of the first century, where what one did with those monies is one did speculation and lending, usually to landowners who the crop fails, someone gets sick, someone gets old. At these high interest rates, they foreclose, and the rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. There's not a lot of justice in that story told from that angle. And so the rich landowner, gives the talents And off he goes. And he's gone for a long, 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 long time. And he comes back. And by the way, first century Palestine, slaves like that, they were allowed to make a little money. So they would lend money at interest, and then they would tack on a little bit of more interest for themselves because that's how they made money. It's reasonable. This is how it's done. Business is business. This is how these things all go on. And yeah, people lose out. You exploit the poor, but you know what? Profit, business, whatever you call it. Except the one buries it in the hole because he says to himself, I'm not going to be party to this system. And I know what the consequences will be if I don't. And so he buries it. And the master comes back, and the master replied, you wicked and lazy slave, you knew, did you not, that I reap where I did not sow and gather where I do not scatter? Then you ought to at least have invested my money with bankers, and on my return I would have received what was owned with interest. So take the talent away from him and give it to the one with 10 talents. For all those who have more will be given, and those who have will have abundance. But from those who have nothing will be, even what little they have will be taken from them. As for this worthless slave, throw him out into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Does that sound to you like the presence of unrelenting love? Does that sound like the God that Jesus called Abba? Not at all. But do you see how we have taken that parable and made it all about God rewards us if we're good business in the world, if we're just reasonable? Because there's a risk. Because if you read the Gospel of Matthew, what's going on is he's talking about just this thing. And there are consequences to living in integrity in this world. You are misunderstood. You don't make the zillions of dollars. There are consequences. You are seen as someone who is unreasonable. George Bernard Shaw says this: the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. So the invitation, I think what Jesus is saying in this parable is the dark, impenetrable wisdom, the Sophia, the one that invites us to be unreasonable, the one that disrupts, that breaks us out of that sleep, that amnesia, that sense that this is what it is, this is the best it can be, this is how it is, into something else, something different. And where does that bring us? It brings us, I think, to what Paul Tillich talks about as probably the most important question we can ask ourselves. What concerns you? What concerns you? By the way, fun fact, if you're thinking that question now and what concerns you has to do with you yourself, you're thinking too small. Because the bottom line is, if we look at the entire gospel of Jesus, or the stories of Jesus, and earlier than that, the letters of Paul, it's all about being part of something greater than ourselves. And that nothing is on its own. If the divine presence that we call God, that symbol of this dynamic presence of unreliving love, which is always forming relationships, whether it's from, one atomic particle to the next atomic particle, to an atom, to a cell, to a molecule, or the other way around, or an organ, or whatever the case may be, always creating relationship, one to the other, 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 to the other. That there's no place in that says, this is where it stops, and this is separate, and I'm alone. I'm going to offer you something that someone wise told me once, and I'm going to share it with you today because it's one of those things I have come to believe, experience to be true, that all money issues aren't money issues, they're relationship issues. And if you got a money issue, chances are you got a relationship issue. You work on one and the other resolves itself. It's a different kind of consciousness. It's the consciousness that goes from the experience of gift to gratitude to generosity. It's the gift that says, I'm part of something greater than myself. And that, as Jesus says, as I seek first the kinship of the divine and all that means, then everything else is provided for in a different kind of way. In a different way of how we do things. So if the first question is, what concerns me the most? The answer to that is in the next question. What shall I do with my finitude? What shall I do with this life that has a beginning and an end? In this moment, here and now, on this planet, with these people, in these circumstances, and where things are the way that they are, what will I do? What will I do? I can't help but think of Tolkien, of course. And there's this wonderful scene in the second book, right before Gandalf fights the Barlog and dies. But he and Frodo are talking, and Frodo is talking. He's saying, I wish this thing didn't fall on me, and I wish it didn't happen in these times. And Gandalf says, so do we all. We all wish this thing wasn't in our life and in these times. And think about the world today. Don't we wish the things that are going on weren't going on? Don't we wish that, all of us? Man, it would be so much better if there wasn't ecological disaster or Ukraine or Gaza or, fluoride in the water and communists in the streets, whatever the story is, whatever the thing is. Oh, why are the times like this? Gandalf says, we all wish that. We all want that. But what's important is what we do with the time we have. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to recognize the trauma. It's okay for all those kinds of things and to feel whatever we want to feel. But at the end of the day, what do we do with the time we have left? And what's interesting is right before Tolkien nerd, right before Frodo and Sam make their way to Mount Doom, they're having this conversation. And they're missing home, and they bring out a little bit of lembas, which is the bread that the elves give. And they say, well, if we eat this now, there won't be enough for the way home. So this is it. This is our finer meal. And there probably won't be a home. But the magic of the lembas is when they break the bread and share the meal together, they have the experience of home. It tastes like home. It smells like home. They feel like home. And it gives them strength for the journey. Knowing Tolkien and how he wrote, what he's talking about is the most important sacramental thing there is. That when two people share bread together, a meal together, form relationship, then remarkable things can happen. So, what is your greatest concern? What do we do with our finitude? What do we do in a community like this, in times like this? I offer you the words of Thomas Merton. And I noticed last night as I was going over my notes, I quote Thomas Merton more than I quote Ernest Holmes. Just noticing, not doing anything about it, just noticing. But Thomas Merton says this: our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. This is not our business, and in fact, it's nobody's business. What we are asked to do is love, and this love itself will render both ourselves and our neighbors worthy. Every practitioner that I have trained knows this, that the disruptive power that we bring people into wholeness with is to love them unconditionally. The power that a community such as this has to heal and to make whole is that we consciously practice unconditional love. It is the most unreasonable thing we could do. And yet, it is the very thing that transforms. It's the thing that changes. So as I end this talk today, I'm going to invite us all again to contemplate the prayer from Tosha Silver, which, by the way, is now on the website, so you can pray it there, or I think all the copies have been gone, but it's available. And I'm going to do a book study on this in January too, by the way, for anybody that wants it. Divine Beloved, allow me to give with complete ease and abundance, knowing that you are the unlimited source of all. Let me be an easy and open conduit for your prosperity. Let me trust that all my own needs are always met in amazing ways, and that it's safe to give freely as my heart guides. And equally, let me feel wide open to receiving. May I know my own value, beauty, and worthiness without question. Let me allow others the supreme pleasure of giving to me. May I feel worthy to receive in every possible way. Change me into one who can fully love, forgive, and accept myself, so that I may carry your light without restriction. Let everything that needs to go, go. Let everything that needs to come, come. I am utterly your own. You are me, I am you, we are one, all is well, and so it is.
Thanks, Rev. Always beautiful. Feeling extra aligned today. So this is a little sing-along of mine that I wrote that I'm sure a lot of us remember. But if you're new, don't be afraid. If you want to sing along, it goes like, the chorus goes, if you want change, you gotta do what you order. And then you say, chop that wood and carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you order. Chop that wood and carry that water. There's also another part that says, 'cause we're all together. Yes, we are, we're all together. So that's the two parts. And it's good for the soul and the community to sing along. So feel free to belt it out if you're feeling it. Well, it's not clear, but I'm just like you. I've been over here pointing fingers too.
But if you want change, you gotta do what's good. You gotta carry that wood or chop that wood. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood, carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood, carry that water. Now everything I do is part of this earth. Step by step I'm gonna add some worth. We could feel afraid but you can't deny it. We feel at ease when we help each other try it. If you want change you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood, carry that water. If you want change you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood and carry that water. Oh yeah. Because we're all together, yes we are. Sing, we're all together. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Sing, we're all together, yeah. Because we're all together. Well, we should get together and sing these songs, but it's gonna take more to right these wrongs. I'm gonna know my history, I'm gonna do someone a favor. I treat myself better and trust my neighbor. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood, carry that water. If you want change, you gotta do what you oughta. Chop that wood, carry that water. Oh yeah. Because we're all together, yes we are. Sing, we're all together. No matter where you're coming from, we're all together. Yes, we are all together. You sing the truth. That was a true story. Thanks for singing along. So beautiful. Oh yeah.
So that's it's just isn't the vibe in here, the energy in here is just so good. It's just so lovely. Yeah, you know, just like what has been spoken of in this beautiful song, Lee and his band have been playing for us, that we're all together, and it's a very, very powerful message. You know, the message that Reverend Dr. Guy just gave us. And I think of all the spiritual communities that are aligned in this message of being at one with ourselves and nature and everything. It's such an important thing, especially now, because our world it's almost like it's kind of going towards this place of disconnection and fragmentation. And you know, everything needs to be reasonable, and everything has to make sense. And that's not the case. And all these communities, including ours, whether we're speaking of you know, meditation and yoga and all these modalities, we can meet at the same place of this sense of being united and in being one, being connected, being together. And so this sense of community is very important. And what we do is we keep this alive by sharing that through our coin and our currency, because that is a sense of an extension of our love that we have. And the love that we have as far as saying that we are all together, we are all here, and we are united, and we all can count on each other. And if you can, you can. If you can't, great. But we know that by this sense of giving, that we can extend ourselves to say that, you know what, I am touched here, and this place is an important place for me, and I am going to show that by giving and demonstrating that through the value that I'm receiving by the message. And I learned that later on my journey, the importance of value and the importance of really saying, you know what, this place touched my life. I'm gonna give. There's certain places that I don't give to, because I feel it. It's an energetic thing. But for this place, I love giving to it. And in fact, I have an intention. I'm like, 1 year I'm going to be giving this much, and I'm going to give this much. And I think I've really made it to a place now where I can say, you know what? I'm giving this much because I love this place. And so if you're giving that much, whatever that amount may be, just know that you are loved and you are guided. And so please, if you like, hold that gift to your heart today. Or hold that gift in your mind and your presence to know with me that this gift is a gift of love that we give as an expression of love, to know that we are taking part in this reciprocal cyclic thing, this universal thing, this mirroring thing, that we are one with the universe, that great essence of life, and that whatever we give, we receive it as much or even more than we give, because we are a part of what it is, which is giving and receiving. And so I know that this gift is a blessing of love, of truth of our being. And those who are giving online too, in the PayPal, which is where I give. I love giving through PayPal. I just know that is a blessing itself. And so may we all just share this gift and let it continue to multiply for the love and the grace that we are all here about, knowing that it is the truth of our being. I let go. I let that divine presence, knowing that it is done. And together we say, and so it is.
Every one of you is invited to lunch. Every one of you is invited to lunch. The only caveat is that Steve and the band is going to serve themselves first, and take it on as a spiritual practice to receive. And so let's share a meal together. Let us rejoice at this time of gratefulness and thanksgiving for all the beauty and good that is here, and thank everybody that was part of this service today. Annie showed up early. She was decorating and turning and twisting and fixing things and making things beautiful. Steve always making there. Dave was greeting people. The band, fabulous. Paul. Chris, you rang the bell. You had me a little nervous there. I think that was the longest 3 minutes of my life. But you did well. It was great. It was good. So thank everybody who has been in service today, and Gary for collecting and all of that. And I was going to say something because I thought about Gary. Gary knows this probably more than anybody. If you want to get healed, expect to get disrupted, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, disrupt. If you want a healing, plan on getting disrupted. Yes. Always, yeah. So with that, in the midst of whatever it is where the opportunity is. So with that, and if you are a little disrupted today, then please do not leave without prayer. And there are 3 or 4 or 5 or a ton of ways that you can have prayer. But the most specific ones are, you can fill out a prayer request in the back there, and the practitioners get together weekly and we pray on those requests. So that is happening. You can come up to one of the practitioners who are now making their way to the platform here, and just look to one of them and ask them to pray with you, and they'd be more than happy to do that. Or in just a few minutes after service, Paul will be leading a prayer group in the Emerson room, you might want to bring your lunch. Actually, it'd be better if you had your lunch with us and then pray, or however you guys do it. Maybe it's just do a short one. I don't know. So, thank you all. So let us pray. Contemplating the facts of life from the highest point of view, as Emerson says, a prayer, a word spoken that creates a world, beginning with us, that what we speak changes us. So may this day be filled with amazement and wonder and awe. May we endeavor to see the handiwork of the divine in all things. May we practice reverence for all life. And may the path of service open its way to each and every one of us, that we might participate in this extremely amazing thing called life in our own unique and fabulous way. And so we let it be, and so it is.
Thanks everyone for being here and letting the trio entertain this morning. And thanks Kyra Wilcox on the bass. Thank you, brother. AC Angela Catrone, been playing with me for 10 plus years. Gratitude. And we're gonna do another set after while we're eating and stuff. We're gonna do our ceremonious first bite for sure. Thank you. But we're going to play a set while everyone's eating too. So just since we've got the band here, we may as well. So gratitude to everybody. Just like this song says. Well, I may be one man in a microphone, but I didn't get here on my own. Mama taught me my first song, and brother let me sing along when I didn't have to. We hear it every day. This world has gone astray. They wanna be the first to tell you it's getting worse. But what they don't tell you, there's people coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do. You keep on coming through. When you feel like you can't cope and you're at the end of the rope, just leave your heart wide open. You start to feel that hope. Oh, come on through. That bone. Think about how far we've come, the impossible we've done. Compassion, innovation through every generation. There's people coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do. You keep on coming through. Yeah, you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm singing to you. Hey, you. Thank you. Teachers and creators, to the givers and caretakers, enterprises, 9-to-5ers, we're all just earth survivors. And I feel alive, yeah. To everyone who helped me along, who listened to my song, who made these strings I strum, and who made this microphone. Well, I know who. It's those people coming through. People like you and you and you. You didn't have to, but you do. You keep on coming through. Yeah, you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm singing to you. Hey, you. Thank you. The people coming through. People like you. People like Hilltop. People coming through. Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick bite to eat so everyone can eat. Then we're going to keep on jamming. Thanks, everybody.